we go. All right. We're starting to work it out. I like this. I like we're working. Those of you that can meet me on YouTube, meet me on YouTube. Those of you that cannot, I will see you on the different platforms that we have available. We also have Facebook and we also have YouTube, Instagram, whatever platform you can meet me on. Go ahead and meet me on that platform. We're going to get started. So today we're going to go back to the being sensitive to the Spirit, because here's what's happening to me. What's happening to me is I'm watching these things happen in our lives, and I'm realizing, because everybody was having challenges during this Thanksgiving. It was like Challenge USA. Everybody was having some type of challenge. Everybody was having, hey guys, welcome. We're here and we're doing our thing, and I pray that whatever's going on in your life is happening perfectly the way God has made it happen. And yeah, there we go. I think everything's going well. Today, in John, the first chapter, there's something he says that is really paramount to what we're doing and how we're moving right now. And it is very important that you hear this thing. So, in John, before we go to John, we're going to John, the first chapter. I need you to look at Matthew, the 6th chapter. Those of you that are a part of the mentoring group, I need you to go through this with me. I'm going to show you how deep this is. This is so deep. Earlier today, I talked about how you have to determine where you serve and what's your way of serving. What's your way of servitude? So, in John the 6th chapter, Matthew the 6th chapter, and the 24th verse, it works its way down to seek first the kingdom of God, and that's a whole different teaching. It's not, we've not been taught that the way it's actually supposed to be taught. But it says, no man can serve two masters. He will either love the one or hate the other, or else he'll hold to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. Now, here's where we've always been taught. We went straight to money for this, because we go all the way down, and it says, in the verse 19, it says, lay not your treasures up on earth where moths and rust, and verse 20 says, but lay up yourself treasures in heaven where neither moths nor rust doth corrupt it, or nor thieves can break into it. For where your treasure are, that's where your heart is also. And I want you to follow me here. Now, the basis of everything that we do is what we treasure, what we think is very important. Now, I always go back to Paul talking in the Philippians. In the Philippians, when the principle is, as it's written, I count myself not to have apprehended. And also those things I consider loss for, he said, I consider myself not to have apprehended. But it says, those things I consider gain, I consider loss. Now, if you want to change where you are, if you want to get to the next level, you have to prepare for the battle of leaving this level. Does that make sense? If you want to go to the next level, you have to prepare for the battle of leaving this level. And a lot of times people don't really prepare for that. So for example, my son just called me. And my son just called me. He doesn't hold weight. Paul doesn't hold weight, but the passage does, and I just happened to say he wrote it. My son just called me, and my son said to me, he said, I have an opportunity to move to PA in my own place. And so he says, I have opportunity to do that. I can just stay here and do that. So what then you talk about is what's important, what holds weight when it comes to you. What holds weight? What holds weight when it comes to you? And so when you discern what holds weight for you, you'll find out that those are the things that you treasure. And where your treasures are, that's where your heart is. So what you have to do is shift your treasures, thus shifting your heart, thus shifting your movement. Now, how does that work? For example, right now, you don't like to have no money. You don't like to have no money. If you don't like to have no money, then you need to do things that give you money. Now, it's not the money that you need to change. It's the habits that you are utilizing that utilize your money. Example, if you go out to McDonald's every day, at McDonald's, we'll just say if McDonald's every day is $20 a day. So $20 a day, 20 times 7 is 14. So you're paying $140 a day, a week. $140 a week in McDonald's. And take that in context to months, that's $246. That's almost $600 a month that you have right there. So your habits become what determine your direction. So you go, I want something. So you go, my desire is here. What's the foundation that's stopping me from getting the desire? So when he says this, he says, where your treasures are, that's where your heart is also. That means that those things, from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So all I have to do is listen to what you speak most about, and I know that's where your treasures are. That's what's most important to you. A lot of women will say, oh, this is my son, or these are my children, and they're married, and they go, no, it's our children. Well, no. The moment she said it's our children, that is her concern. That's what's on her heart. That's what she's thinking. Now, she may not thinking it to the point that she doesn't want her son to have or her husband to have anything, but she is thinking it to the point that she feels like she has a level of responsibility for where her heart is. Does that make sense? So when you understand that, you understand the power that covers what you treasure. Now, some of you don't treasure things, though you say you treasure them. Now, why do I say that? Because when you treasure something, you serve it because you believe it's valuable. So when you treasure your money, you then look for ways to make money. If you treasure your family, you do things to protect your family. Where your heart is, that's where your treasuries are, because that becomes a give and take pertaining to your life. But what do you want? See, here's the deal. A lot of you are in a position where what you really want is either hidden or covered or stopped or hindered by the fact that you believe your circumstance does not dictate you being able to do that. For example, you want another house, okay? You want a house, all right? So you live in a house right now. In the process of your house, you go, I can't get a house because I don't have good credit. That's the first thing you say, I don't have good credit. Now, for those of you, just as general rule, there are about 10 ways to get a house without credit. About 10 of them. The key becomes, what are you willing to sacrifice in your treasure chest that opens up doors for you to get what you desire? First of all, what's your prayer and meditation life like? What do you do? What do you give to God, which gives you opportunities and open doors? What are you offering to God? Second of all, what are you offering to habits, and what's your ritual every day? What is that thing that you do every single solitary day? What does that look like? Third of all, what does your environment look like? All these things come because when your treasure's there, that's where your heart is. This is what Matthew says. Now watch Matthew 12. Watch Matthew 12 and 33. And I don't know why I don't highlight this every time I talk about it. 12 and 33 says, either make the tree good and the fruit thereof, make the tree good and the fruit good, or else make the tree corrupt and the fruit corrupt, for the tree is known by its fruit. Then it says, O generation of viper, 34, O generation of vipers, how can I, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. I'm looking for my highlighters. It's somewhere. There's somewhere. Some of this mass of destiny. And so you think to yourself, okay, so what am I speaking about? That always. See, one of the things that's very interesting to me is you will spend all this time arguing and fighting with people that do not want to be where you want them to be, or do not want to do what you want them to do. And you never take the time to say, you know what, I'm going to pray my way through this. And I don't mean pray my way like I see in church, but I mean, I'm going to get my mind, my heart clear enough that I can hear what the Spirit is saying. And I'm going to walk the way my spirit tells me, not my feelings, not my emotions, not what I see here in the Bible, but what my spirit is telling me. Because what you have to understand, biblical teaching is general teaching. Applied biblical teaching is specific teaching. Biblical teaching is general teaching. Applied teaching is specific teaching. So example, seek first the kingdom of God. Everybody, just seek it. Everybody just go seek in the kingdom of God. But for you, my seeking is my type of prayer, my belief, my thought process. That becomes now a specific teaching that applies to my life. So it's not the following of the Bible. It's not it's the following of being connected to the Spirit in such a way that he guides you to the destination, not generally hope you find it. He guides you to the destination. When he guides you to the destination, then from that place on, you find yourself in a position that's specifically designed for what's abundant to you or what's important to you. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, so let's go down a little further. So, the 23rd verse. Let's go to let's jump to the 24th. He said, "No man can serve two masters." Now, so okay, you got your heart and you got the desires of your heart. Now, let me help you how most of us are on three levels of desires. How we confuse ourselves, how we confuse the movement of what we have. We have the spiritual, we have the physical, and we have the mental. Or in the exact order, we have the spiritual, we have the mental, we have the physical. So now you've been going to church for 13, 20, 15, 5, 10 years. And in the midst of you going to church, here's what's happening. Excuse me. You're praying on one end. Oh, God, bless me, bless me, bless me. But your mind is thinking about something else. So you're praying, God, bless me, but you're trying to make sure these people are happy around you, and you're physically walking in opposite directions. So you're going in three totally different directions. There's confusion. Where there's confusion, there's every evil work. Principle. Where there's confusion, there's every evil work. So when you begin to say, okay, let my spirit line my spirit line my mind up, and my mind line up my body. Now follow me. Let my spirit line up my mind, and my mind line up my body. Relationships will change. Who you deal with will change when you begin to get things in line. See, a lot of us got into relationships because we treasured being with somebody. We treasured being dominant. We treasured having children. We treasured buying stuff. We treasured spending money. Those things are not reasons to treasure. Those things are products of being in the right place. Let me say that again. Cars, how things are not to be treasured. They're to be used and used at the highest level, but they're not your treasures. Why? Because anything that can be corrupted, anything that can be destroyed, anything that gets old should not be valued as high as spiritually. That's even people. If you stay connected to God, or if you stay connected to the Spirit, what you'll realize is you will learn how to deal with each of the things that happen in your life. I'm a big science fiction person, and I cannot remember the name of this movie, but I see it. But I'm going to ask you a question. And everybody, here's one of the funniest questions, the most interesting questions you're going to ever get when it comes to me. Now, let me stop taking a pause break. Again, my name is William Dallas. This is the Truth of Perspective, but it's actually Uncle Dallas Speaks. If you want to be a part of this, make sure you share, like, subscribe, hit the little bell button. And when you hit the little bell button, it'll give you all the times to go up, watch the other videos, and get yourself together. If you're on any one of the other platforms, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, you can go to my YouTube page to see the replay, or you can go watch it as we are watching it now, as you're watching it now. So it's youtube.com/Higher Talk. Okay? /Higher Talk. It's HIGHERTALK. Now, you go to that. You can be on then. You can watch everything there, and it is a recording. And from that recording, you can hear everything that we're dealing with. But so thank you for joining us. So now, when you understand these processes, you have to understand this. He said, "Well, your heart is where your treasures are." There's nothing you can't have. But what you have to realize is that stuff is temporal. It is temporary. But you learn that when you operate in the Spirit, you stay close to things that are eternal. But you also get instructions on how to keep movement. Now, so back to what I was saying. Interesting question. One of the questions I want you to think about. If you were immortal, what would you have in your life? Because check it out. If you're immortal, you never die. And let's say everybody around you and everything else around you, it's going to die. Really, everything around. If you're immortal, you never die. You never die. You never age. Everything else around you is going to die. Everything else is going to have age. What would you have? What are the things that you hold on to forever? Why? Because you are mortal. If you're a man, your wife is going to eventually get old and die. If you're a woman, your husband's going to get old and die. Your car is going to become old. Your house is going to become old. All these things are going to become old. They're going to all pass away. They're going to perish. There's no car around here that's 1,000 years old. There's no car. We've only been cars for a couple. There's no car. Everything gets old. It gets perished. It gets out of date. It gets all those things. So what would you hold on to right now? What can you hold on to that will maintain your life? Because it's all going to go away. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. What you hold on to is the spiritual thing that you need in your life. And when you understand that, you understand that what I'm teaching you is not that there's no nice things to have and there's no nice cars to have and there aren't great people. What I'm teaching you is the value of who you are is connected to spiritually. It's not connected to Bible. It's not connected to church. It's not connected to religion. It's not connected to pastor, leader, doctor. It's not connected to any of those things. It's connected to a divine source that will keep you at a place where those things that you have need of and those things you desire are within reach. Those things you have need of and those things you desire are within reach. There are people on if I gave away $1 million every time I got on this show, there'd be people that would think there was something wrong with it. You stay away from those people. You don't deal with those people. Why? Because I'm not teaching you about religion. I'm not teaching you about, like the gentleman said, about Paul. I'm teaching you that what Paul had, what you have, what I have, what's available to all of us is the Spirit. Anytime you attach to a title of a religion, you are living less than the fullness of what you can live. I don't care where it is. There is not a perfect religion on this planet. Every religion has flaws, and one of the biggest flaws in every religion is people. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So that means that at the level that you have the power, that means the level that you increase, but the level that I control your power is the level that I decrease. You increase as I help you get to power. I decrease as I control your power. Religion purely says what all religion is an organized way to reach God, a controlled, organized way to reach God. That's all religion is. It tells you, I know God, you come to me and I'll tell you how to get to God. Teaching says, I know God, now you can know God like I know God, or you can know God better than I know God. That's what teaching says. See, when you start getting into religion, you start getting into people telling you what you can't have. I can't generally speak on this platform and tell you what you cannot have. It is impossible. Why? Because the level of spirituality that you operate in will give you a level of limitations that come for your life. So when I tell you that he says no man can serve two masters and you're serving three masters, the reason you're serving three masters is because your survival instinct says, I got to have enough Bible so that I go to heaven. I got to have enough mentality that I don't go crazy. I got to have enough physical to satisfy my hunger. And that's hunger in sex, hunger in food, hunger in attention, those things. So what happens, you're going in three different directions because one of those directions gives you everything you need. When you're operating in the spirit, your spirit will make sure that your mind has enough things to make sure it moves forward. Your mind will then say, okay, we are walking in a constructive direction and not a destructive direction. Does that make sense? And so when you understand those three mechanisms, you understand that all I need to do is understand the spirit. So let's move down a little further. Verse 25 says this, therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body, for what shall you put on? Is not life more than meat, and body more than raiment? Behold, the fowls of the air, verse 26, they sow, neither do they reap, nor do they gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are you not more than they? Now, here's what I want you to understand. There is take thought and worry. There's also a passage that said don't worry. There's take thought until worry. Take thought is not saying think about what you're going to eat in the purest sense of the word. Take thought is don't worry. Don't hold on to that thought. So when it comes to those things that are happening in your life, if you are operating at a level of the spirit, what you have to realize is you have to give the spirit room. You've got to give it room. We are so attached to this environment that when people, even people that try to, what's that thing? Try to throw shade. I think that's what the thing is. Try to throw shade. Even people that try to throw shade my way, throw shade from a lower position than I'm speaking to you about. People that try to throw shade. I'm here, they're throwing shade here. So it doesn't affect me. For example, right now I'm teaching you how to operate in the spirit. I will have people come on here. You must be born again. You must be saved. You must be that. And some of them are meaning it in a good way, but some of them mean it in a detrimental way. Being saved, being born again, all of that stuff means absolutely nothing to what I'm teaching. Because in order for you to operate spiritually, you're operating in your original form. So born again or not born again, speaking in tongues or not speaking in tongues, walking in miracles or not walking in miracles is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the original form that produces all that other stuff. See, when you understand that you have the opportunity to live in a life that connects you directly to your right and who you are as a spiritual being, you can't get caught up in people that say, well, what about this? And what about this? And what about this? It doesn't affect me. I'll answer the question because it all makes sense once you operate in the spirit. I get people every day going, oh, what about why are you following a Bible that talks about slavery? Why are you still living in slavery? We do. We're enslaved by a system that tells us what we should wear, what we should think, and what we should do. But you don't understand. If you become spiritual, you then use that system to your benefit. But as long as you stay logical and mental and emotional, you will not see that thing. It will not make any sense to you. Does that make sense? And so what happens to you is you are now enslaved by that thing. What am I trying to do? Set you free. So isn't it kind of crazy? I'm trying to set you free from a system that you're still using to attack. You're using the thing that's enslaving you to attack a situation that's trying to set you free. You're using a system that's enslaving you to attack a system that's trying to set you free. I'm not trying to get you to be a part. Listen, I've carried every mantle possible: evangelist, pastor, teacher, pastor, evangelist, pastor, teacher. What am I missing? One. A pastor, apostle. I've carried all of these mantles. What I realized, it wasn't the mantle; it was my connection to God that was the most important part of it. And so, what am I saying? He said, "Take no thought." Don't get entangled in the people that want to keep you tangled up. You can be free. You can be free. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to freeze frame right here. Right here, I can only see YouTube. So I don't know what this one right here is. This is TikTok. This is Instagram. This is Facebook. So please, whoever is hearing me, don't take it personally, which is another thing I'm trying to get you to understand. Don't take it personally because I don't know what you're typing. I don't know what you're writing. I don't see anything. The only thing I can see is the notes on YouTube. I can't see the notes on TikTok, the notes on Instagram. I can't even see the notes on Facebook. So what I'm saying to you is get to the higher level. There is a passage in Deuteronomy that said, above only and not beneath. Don't think beneath. I can't attack you unless I know what your weapons are. My weapons of my warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God through the pulling down of strongholds. I don't get concerned about that. I don't get mad. I was talking to a young man the other day, and there's a gentleman that got on here, and he was talking about, why are you teaching this deaf and all this kind of stuff? And I end up talking to the guy. We have to get to a point that our main flow and our main focus is the Spirit. We have to get to that point. So the passage in 34 says, take no thought for your life. Taking thought for your life is not being concerned. Taking thought of your life is simply this. Your life is in your spiritual life. They do this every time I do the slide. Your life is within where you are spiritually. That's your life. Where you are carnally, where you are mentally, where you are physically, this is not your life. These things can change. And if you want them to, they will change. So where you are right now, the only reason you're still there is because you desire to be there. No, I don't. Yeah, you do. You desire to be there because, number one, it takes one move of the Spirit to change everything about your life. You are no different than anybody else on this planet. People say, well, I have to work harder. The reason you have to work hard is because you don't know where the doors are open. If you knew where the doors were open, you simply walk toward the doors. People have had money and people have had no money for years. Every person in this world has an opportunity. The opportunity is not within your environment. It never was. It was within who you are spiritually. And when you understand who you are spiritually, then that environment that you're in right now becomes a benefit to you. There's the shovel and the gold rush. Everybody knows that. I don't know if you know that or not. There's the shovel and the gold rush. Guy comes in town, goes to California, does a gold rush. By this time, the gold rush is in full swing. So he finds his little plot of land. He starts panning for gold, panning for gold, panning for gold. He doesn't get the gold. Can't find gold. He gets one or two things. He goes back to the town where they're trying to pan for gold. And when he goes back to town, he notices that everybody's walking in town with hands full of gold, and they got water dripping down their hands, and they got using sticks. And he says, you know what? I bet you that I can create a shovel so they can use that and a bucket that they can carry the gold in. So what happened was he took his environment, and his environment produced what he wanted. See, he thought it was the gold, but it was never the gold, guys. People, you think it's the relationship that you want, but it's not the relationship. It's what you want out of the relationship. It's not the study. It's what you want from the Spirit. It's not any of those things. What it is what you want that thing to produce. See, I don't read the Bible because I want to read the Bible. And this is what churches had problems with. And this is what religion has had problems with. Because you did not read this to benefit. What you read it so you can tell everybody that you knew it. But knowing it makes it death. Living it makes it life. Knowing it makes it death. Why? Because you are not putting yourself in a position where you're getting all this powerful information. The Quran, the Book of Mormon, all these, everything people want to say they know the book. Taking thought for their lives. It's not about knowing the book. It's what does the book produce? What did the book produce? I talked to a friend of mine one time. A friend of mine is Jehovah's Witness. And I told him a story. I said, you know what? One day I went into Roanoke, Virginia. The lady was in the hospital. While she was in the hospital, they called me to pray for her. I didn't know that I didn't know what was wrong with the lady. So I was going to pray for her. When I pray for her, she jolts on the bed, just bounces on the bed. And when I finish praying, I walk out. When I walk out, 2 days later, I'm back in my house. And I get a phone call. And the phone call says, hey, who are you? And I said, I'm Dallas at the time. I'm Brother Dallas. And he said, okay. He said, what did you do to my wife? And I'm like, okay, now I'm crazy because I'm thinking she died or she thinks something happened. What do you do to my wife? Now, there's a step with the young lady that drove us up. She was there too. And I said, I did nothing to your wife. I just prayed for her. And I said, why'd you ask me? Why'd you ask me? Really? I'm on the live. I'll call you back.
No, you said 20 minutes. It's been 30.
You don't never count my time ever. I'll call you back. Bye. He's excited. See, missed the punchline. So I said, why? He said, because my wife was dead, and when you prayed for her, she came alive. Now hear me. Hear me very closely. Hear me very closely. In the Bible, you see the dead being raised. In the Quran, you see the power of moving, of having that ability. In the Book of Mormon, it's something that's a cosmic thing. Everybody talks about power of being in the Spirit. But not one book talks about the fact that all of that goes to anybody that is connected to God. People go, well, you got to be a Christian. Well, no, you don't. Yeah, I know. You're mad at me. You got to be a Christian. No, you don't. Well, you could be following the teachings of Elijah Muhammad or the teachings of Islam. No, you don't. See, that's what I want you to understand. You don't have to follow anything to operate in those places, because what you have to realize is this is you. This is you. You are this person. Everything that I do, I've dead raised. All those things. That did not, it had nothing to do with me being a Christian. What it had to do when it came to this was the knowledge that there was a God and there is a spiritual realm. When you understand that, everything that's within that spiritual realm is at your disposal. The reason you don't operate in that disposal is because you're so busy trying to make sure you are a Christian, or you're a part of Nation of Islam, or the 5%, or a Young Righteous Teacher, or a Book of Mormon. You're trying to make sure you're all these things that dilute the pure, uncut drug called the Spirit. So you've diluted who you were because you were trying to identify with something that was less than you. I know you don't want to hear that, and I know people don't understand it, but there's junk that's that's under me. It's beneath me. How long you been in church? Beneath me. Beneath me. Who cares? Beneath me. I don't want to talk about that. What religion are you part of? Beneath me. I don't want to talk about that. Who cares what religion I'm a part of? Who cares about? See, you are letting the people that are beneath you control you. Listen, can I tell y'all something? And y'all may not like this, but can I tell y'all something? I'm going to tell you, and you. I'm beneath you right now. I'm mentoring you, but I'm beneath you. You know why I'm beneath you? Because some of you have life to live. Some of you have 20, some of y'all have 20 and 30 and 40 and 50 years to get to a point where you are so connected to God and your spirit that you will see amazing things happen. Guys, I'm not old by any stretch of the imagination, but I've done this thing for 30 years. Possibly I could do it for another 30. But if I could do it for 30, that means you have 60 to do it and 70 to do it. And I'm giving you, let me tell you why I'm beneath you. I'm giving you the benefit of the maturity that has happened because I've lived a life. So that means you can take what I've done. Jesus said it this way: the works that I do, you can do, and greater works. You can take the stuff that I've done, learn the stuff I'm teaching you, and build your life on a next level beyond where I am right now. If someone had told me this stuff and realized let me back that up. I'm not even gonna say that. When I was 19 and I began to learn this stuff, that's why cars came, houses came, miracles came, healing came, deliverance came. Why? Because I began to understand the spirit. But the challenge I had was I wanted to be around church people because we were taught that the only place you understood the spirit was in church. I took thought of my life, but I dedicated myself to the spirit. So I've seen amazing things. I mean, things that scientists don't even understand now. Why? Because so now I'm in envy of you guys. Because you have somebody like me. I don't have a person like me. There is nobody like me. There is no person. I know that sounds arrogant, and right now I don't care. I wish there was a William Dallas that was 80 years old that I could sit down and talk to and say, hey, what did you do to get this? Because he's now transforming from one place to another. He speaks and things out. There is no me. My mandate is to get everybody to a point that they let go of religion as a dependency and get to the dependency of the spirit. That's my job. That is my job. It's my job in my little studio. It's my job when I'm eating dinner. It's my job when I go. Why? Because I know how important and how powerful this is. I know it. I've watched it happen. And so I told you, I don't get to people, well, that's so beneath what we're talking about right now. I heard a lady say, what about African religion? That's so beneath what we're talking about right now. Because whether it's African religion or anything, it's based on the spirit. I can give you one of two things. I can give you a gold chain, or I can give you a what is it called? I can give you a gold chain, or I can give you a place that you can mine all the gold you want. Which one you want? Now the mine is going to be hard. You got to work and pull it and do whatever you got to do for it, but you have unlimited. Or I can give you a gold chain. Most of you have been given a gold chain and you think you're rich. What's your gold chain? Oh, my gold chain is I go to Church of God of Prophecy over the moon to the side. My church is I know the Bible. I've got 5 degrees and I got all those things. But miracles are not happening in your life. And hear me, people. Hear me, people. Hear me, people. Miracles are possible. The miraculous is a part of your lineage as a spiritual person. If you're not seeing them, you need to be in the mentoring class. If you're not seeing them, take it from me. I see them. I see them. That is why I'm envious of you, because I've seen great things. I've seen wonderful things, but I see them. I'm teaching my mentoring class how to transition. It's a slow transition, because what you have to realize is you have to do as Paul said. Yes, Paul, I apologize. You have to do as it's written in Philippians. Is that better? Those things I consider gain, I consider loss for the information of the Spirit. You have to do that. You have to do what Matthew says. The kingdom of heaven suffers violence. Or John, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violent take it by force. You have to do what this says. Matthew 6 says, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. You got to realize that Deuteronomy 8 and 18 says, remember for God to get the power to get wealth. And wealth is not always money. Wealth is influence. Riches is money. You got to realize that it take no thought for tomorrow. You got to realize that when you begin to break this book down, you're not breaking this book down to say all the bad stuff you do. Oh, I fornicate, all of it. That stuff is so beneath you. But you've been addicted to it, and you're so addicted to it that it's hard for you to let it go. So what happens is you walk around with addiction because I got to have sex. Addiction because I got to get drink. Addiction because you have cigarettes. And right now, God doesn't care about any of those things. He's going, do you know that you have a life that you can live so much higher than the addictions that happen to you right now? You know what the interesting thing was? When I met my wife, my wife was love at first sight. You know what most people said? Well, dude, what if y'all not good in bed? What if y'all not? Really? Of all the things that I'm looking to define my relationship, do you think that my relationship is defined by my ability for my wife and I to have sex? That's the definition of our ability. What if you with Tamika, who's the finest thing in the world, and make you climb the moon when y'all have intimate time, and Tamika has an accident? She can't do anything now. She can't do any of the little tricks she does. See, because you build your life around a personal, an independent environment right now. And what you're known is you're tied to it. You are tied to it. That's what soul ties are all about. And I'm going to touch on those. So you're tied to it. What you're tied to is Tamika's ability to do this. If Tamika's going to do it, you're going to do it. Go get somebody else to do it. If Kevin can't do it, you'll get somebody else to do it. Why? Because you're attached and addicted to things that are less than you. My wife and I pray, and we prayed, and we saw the movement of the God. We are so compatible in so many different areas. We are compatible in areas we didn't even know we were compatible in, because it was based on the Spirit. Now, when I point up to the Spirit, I'm not talking about up here. I'm talking about up here, above you, pouring into your brain. There are 2 outlets, top of your head and the bottom of your feet. Did y'all know that, scientifically speaking? A little quantum physics, a little physics. You got to learn the whole world. Heat leaves the top of your head. Did y'all know that? So what happens is, what you don't know is the Spirit of God is touching the top of your head to touch your whole body. The reason my throat was scratchy is because I had no hat on, but I cut all my hair off. It is interesting that even the smallest bit of faith changes the course of a person's life. Just like the smallest bit of hair keeps your head warm. Did y'all know that? You don't have to have an afro, but the smallest bit of hair keeps your head warm. It stimulates your head. You have been living a life beneath your privileges. And then I come to you and go, hey, let's move higher. And I get people asking me all kinds of questions. Listen, let me help you out. The reason I engaged questions, especially on TikTok, the reason I engage questions is not because I want to show you I'm no more than you. I want you to realize that some of the things that you're asking right now, and I'm not talking about times when somebody's being hurt or bruised or broken. I mean, questions that keep you attached to religion. They're insignificant to what you're about to do in your life, because you don't know what's happening tomorrow, but your spirit does. Your spirit knows exactly what you should do today that'll have you work for tomorrow. You'll be outside, and while you're outside, you'll see something and something on the ground. Like, pick up that stick. You pick up the stick, you go inside, and you get up on your patio, and you're sitting there going, man, I wish I had a stick. I got one yesterday. Because your spirit knows what's the path. So I engage those people because I don't want people that believe that atheism is the right thing or the wrong thing to feel like they still are in the spirit. You still have a spirit. Whether you think he's a god or not, you still have a spirit. I don't want people to think the Nation of Islam that I dislike you. No, you still have a spirit. I don't care if you're a Mormon. You still have a spirit. You can be a freaking devil worshiper, but you are worshiping in the spirit. And you've decided that the spirit you want brings destruction and you don't, well, no. Don't care. Don't care. But are you benefiting from your spiritual character at the level you need to benefit? Are you benefit at the spiritual character that you live? And I knew I wasn't going to go down this thing. And I knew it was a battle because I had a scratchy throat this morning. My throat was bothering me. I got up. I couldn't sleep last night. Why? I tossed and turned. You know why I tossed and turned, ladies and gentlemen? I tossed and turned because I knew that I needed to do better. Now, everybody that can, I need you to type this. I will be better and do better. Type it if you can, wherever you are. I will be better and do better. Just type it somewhere. If you can type it, I will be better and do better. Type it. Let me see you pop up on, it should pop up all those screens. I will be better and do better. That's what I had to say to myself this morning. I'll be better and do better. Everybody. I need to see it popping up on YouTube. I need to see it popping up on Instagram. I need to see it popping up on you. I will be better and I will do better. I will be better and I will do better. You know the first step to do anything is writing it down. That's the first step. The first step is writing it down. That's the first step. Engaging with the process. That's the first step. I engage all the time. I got pads all over the place. I engage on little note stickies and little. I engage. I will be better and I will do better. Why? Because you are a tangible power source in your world. You are a tangible power source in your world. The key becomes when you understand I will be better and I will do better. Anytime something comes up, that's who you challenge. Don't challenge the neighbor because we're not comparative. Don't challenge the stats because we're not on book. You challenge yourself. Every morning, I will be better and I will do better. If I wrote one chapter in my book, I'm going to write 2 chapters in my book. If I ran 1 mile, I'm going to walk 2 miles. The goal becomes taking the next step. That's the whole goal. The goal becomes taking the next step. The goal is not comparing to somebody. The goal is taking the next step. What is the next step in your life? Now, if you've been following me, you know I told you to write down your list. How many have made your list? We're getting to the end of the year. How many writing down your list? Write down your list. What do you want to accomplish? But I want you to write it. Where's my stuff? I want you to take a pen, find a good pen, a favorite pen, a pen that you're going to use only to write your things. Make your mind think whenever you pick up this pen, this is the pen that's going to take us to destiny. Find you a good pen. This is a cross pen. My wife knows that I like pens, so she buys me these nice pens. Get you a cross pen. Get you a whatever. Get you a notepad. My notepads are right here. Cambridge. These are Cambridge notepads. I have notepads. You see, I got stuff written all in the notepad. And begin to write your way into the next level. Write your way into the next destination. Write your way into the next move. So now you know you are a source of power. Within that source of power, 2022 should have truths that you speak. Don't speak affirmations. Don't speak faith. Speak a truth. 2022, I will be here. Now, once you're there in 2022, here's the next thing I want you to do. I am powerful enough. ... You have to say to yourself, I'm powerful enough to win. I'm powerful enough to get this accomplished. I am powerful enough to. All my mentees and those who are part of the mentoring class, that's the part, add that to your prayer. I'm powerful enough to do it, because once you get yourself connected to the spirit in the right way, you're powerful enough to walk away. You're powerful enough to walk to. You're powerful enough to lift up. You're powerful enough to change. You are been stuck under things that have told you that you're weak. I'm telling you, you're more powerful than it. I'm telling you, you're more powerful than this. Not only are you more powerful than this, then you've already beat it. You've already won this. You've already beat it. DeBorn, you beat it. You've already beat it. Your challenge is walking in the victory. Now, how do you walk in the victory? I'm glad you asked. Verse 25. Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body what you shall put on. Is not your life more than meat, and your body more than raiment? Now, what he's saying here is putting the weight on what you eat, what you wear, and all those things, and letting them become a part of your character. That becomes a move that's less than who you are. Tomorrow when you get up in the morning, for those of you, we're having a mentoring class today. I said I was going to wait for 2 weeks. I couldn't. You don't understand how much pressure I get in my spirit. My spirit gets pregnant with stuff. It just weighs on me. And so tomorrow at 8 o'clock, for those of you that are part of mentoring class, we're going to do a class. We're still going to stay on collision course. But there's some other things I'm going to share with you guys to take you to a point that jolts your spirit. You got to reboot the system. So we're going to talk about rebooting the system tomorrow. You get your Zoom link. Now those of you that are not a part of the mentoring class, you can be a part of it. It is free. We do not ask you for a dime, but we do ask you, if you are going to be a part of it, be there. I only have a certain amount of slots, and those slots are filling up really fast. But I need you to understand that this thing has to take place in your life. There has to be a situation where your power is ignited. You've got to realize that you are a powerful being. And so when we start talking about it, we're going to reboot the system. I'm going to show you guys how to reboot the system. That's what tomorrow's going to be about, rebooting the system. I know it's like a computer. Tomorrow's going to be about rebooting the system. I'm going to teach you how to reboot your system. It'll be easy, but it's going to take some time. Because right now, some of you you need moves today. You don't need moves next week. You don't need moves next month. You need moves today. So I'm going to teach you how to reboot your system, how to reboot your emotional system, how to reboot your spiritual system, and get into those places and start seeing those things happen. So that's it. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. Now, for my social media people, hold tight. Let me close this out. For my YouTube people, I appreciate you guys. My name is William Dallas. They call me Uncle Dallas on every social media platform. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, and watch this video over and over again until it begins to resonate in your spirit. When it resonates in your spirit, then you have it and becomes a revelation. Kathy, it becomes a revelation. So, for those of you, let me do this over here because I never thought about doing that either. For those of you that are, for those of you that desire in my, we can't do. All right. For those of you that desire to be in the mentoring group, and you've not already done it, because most of the people on YouTube are people that have already part of the mentoring group. If you want to be a part of the mentoring group, make sure you follow me on that Gmail address. HigherTalk@Gmail. Where's my notes? HigherTalk@gmail.com. That's for I can't do that backwards on there because it's not going to be backwards on YouTube. So anyway, send me a comment in the comments, or go to the email, send me the information. I send you the link, and you can be a part of it. So, guys, YouTube, Facebook, I love you guys. I promise. It will change your life if you pay attention to what's happening. You'll see the things that will take place in your life, and God bless you. I love you. I'll see you guys on Wednesday, okay? Or I'll see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the mentoring class. Make sure anybody else. All right.